Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dust of the Past. Last session, the party ascended Firefinger and had this, after killing a couple of the older terrafolk in the caves, they made it to the top and had a long, dramatic, and epic battle, the end of which Jasper ended up plummeting off the side of Firefinger unconscious. And Kamakani is also unconscious, but not dead. Jasper.
Yes.
You are sitting in the mud, pain throbbing through every inch of your body. You're barely managing to stay conscious. Blackness is creeping around the edges of your sight. You just feel the rain pounding into your back, washing the blood off of you. You look 10 feet in front of you and see your arm lying there in the mud. Let's flash back, I don't know, how about 18 years? Jasper.
That's me.
You are in your living room, standing triumphantly on a couch, managing to have avoided the lava so far. Sitting in the middle of the living room, stubbornly refusing to admit that the floor is currently made out of lava, is Lazuli. As she hunches over, she's way taller than you, slowly stringing beads onto a bracelet, surprisingly delicately for somebody who, at 13, she is tall. She is easily the tallest one of her age and has a lot of your mother's build, even this young.
Jasper just starts hopping up and down on the couch. Come on. You're gonna die if you stay down there. The floor's lava. Gotta get up. Come on.
Leave me alone, Jasper, she says.
Fine, but I won't attend your funeral. And then he hops from the couch over to a chest that's sitting across the room.
They land on the chest with a thud and maybe a crunch, you're not quite sure. She looks at you again in just annoyance. Jasper, can't you just be quiet? I'm doing something.
Well, what you're doing is boring. Come on, there's nothing else going on. Come on.
What I'm doing is important, Jasper.
You're just playing with beads. That can't be that important.
And as you're looking at, now that you're at the chest, you actually have a better view of the beads. And they're not even like chaotic. They're like organized and stuff. Super boring. They like the colors match and everything too. You can't believe that.
It's just all the same and looks boring. Come on.
Oh, Jasper, you don't know what you're talking about, and she says, and she stands up and then turns and sits down.
As she does that, Jasper is still hopping around the room gracefully, off a chest onto maybe a side table, onto another chair, just bouncing around the room.
There's a lamp that slides dangerously close to the edge that you don't notice. As you continue to bounce around. And she just says, can't you just go somewhere else?
There's not really anywhere else to go. Mom's in the kitchen cooking. We're not supposed to go in there. And you're the only one in here. Dad's not home yet.
You hear something from the kitchen in Orcish. You're not quite sure what it means, and your mom has refused to translate it for you when she says things like that.
Oops.
And then she just kind of has a forced chuckle. Everything's fine back here.
Everything's great.
And then as you continue to hop around, Leslie's just like, she looks at you again. She's like, Jasper, could you please stop?
I guess, but what else is there to do?
At that moment, your father walks in the door from his study, and he is wearing maroon pants as well as a shirt with a bright, horribly clashing yellow vest over top.
Beautiful.
And he smiles at the two of you, and he, as he walks in, he says, "Whoa, what are you two fighting about?"
I'm trying to play, and she's just being bored playing with beads.
Just leave me alone, she says at pretty much the exact same time as you say that.
Also, Dad, look out, be careful, the floor is lava. And Jasper hops back onto the couch.
Your dad looks down, and there's just like a second of mock surprise, and he says, "Oh dear. Well," and he strokes his beard, and he says, "It's a good thing that I have a story to tell you two."
Oh, yeah. And Jasper sits on the couch.
Leslie gets up and lets out a sigh and sits down, and then he sits down in between you two pointedly and flashback to Cholt. The rain comes down. You can hear it hitting the leaves of the trees. The pain has started to dull, but not from injuries healing or anything like that. More because you're just going numb. Despite the heat, you feel cold. You've lost a lot of blood.
Jasper, in what little energy he has, is probably just, he's trying to scoot himself over to where the Firefinger is to just prop himself, because even sitting is taking a lot more energy than he has. He's in pain, and if he had enough energy, he'd be sobbing, but if you look on his face, you can't tell what's tears and at this point what's rain. It's all just mixed together, and he pushes himself to at least get somewhere a little more comfortable. And he just looks over at his arm, and just everything is going through his head. All the promises he made, the things he now won't be able to do. It's all starting to flash, and he's looking down at where his arm used to be and over to where it currently is. And he's just breathing. So that's all he can do at this point.
Flashback to Sharn 18 years ago. And your father smiles at the two of you who are both sitting, you somewhat eagerly, but still kind of catching glances from Leslie, who's got her arms crossed and is frowning angrily at the wall.
Jasper's very much not sitting still. He's bouncing up and down on the couch a little bit. And even after his dad's probably told him to just try and sit still, he's still, even after all of it, his legs don't stop moving, and he's just bouncing around. He's a little ball of energy.
Your dad chuckles, not seeming to take either of you entirely seriously, and he says, "Now, have you ever heard the tale of the bullywugs?" And Alexa
Oh,
rolls her eyes, and she's like, "Only 1,000 times." And he says, "Hush,
only 1,000 times. I love it.
that line's part of the story. Now, let me start again." And then his voice starts to fall into the rhythm he gets when he starts to tell a story. "Now let me tell you about the tale of the bullywugs. It was a long time ago. You see, there were a couple of us, a small group of us, in the forests of Kibara. We were running, jumping, moving through the trees. Kibara, the jungle, you see. All of us were there for one reason, and one reason alone. And that was to find a treasure. That's what we were there to seek. You see, we had one job, only one alone. That job was to find a thing, an artifact, hitherto unknown." As we were moving through the trees, and he starts to strum. He doesn't have his lute, but he strums it as the air, as if it was there. And you can hear the chords in your head as you've heard this story so many times before. "Now we wandered through the midst, looking to the edge. We were in the jungle, the trees overhead." And he grins and he says, "They were bright green, even more than you." And he pokes you on the nose, Jasper.
As he's starting to sing, Jasper's drumming along on his lap.
"We had been there for weeks, looking for something new. Well, then one day we found it. Or at least something quite strange. The trees ahead were flooded in a large plain. The water went to our ankles as we waded through. We couldn't tell what was happening, but we knew we'd found something new. You see, what we were looking for, it grew in places like this. So we trudged on forward to see what we could find. Then we stopped and paused because something was amiss." And then as he does, he pauses this here and then, looks around at both you and Lazuli. Then all of a sudden, and he jumps up and he stands staring in front of you, coming out from behind the trees, strange green creatures. Didn't look like you or me. They were hopping around in circles, staring at us with their bulbous eyes. And he starts hopping around the couch as he says this.
Jasper also joins him in hopping around the room. Probably Jasper's still in his mind playing The Floor is Lava. He's not touching the ground. He's leaping from whatever he can to wherever he can. There's not a very fancy, but kind of cheap chandelier, one that you just low enough to be able to light the candles on it, and he swings off of that a couple times.
Your father laughs and he continues to just hop around strumming that. You've seen him perform this in taverns and things like this before. Normally this is where there's just like a musical break in it, but as you jump around, he continues a little bit earlier than he normally would. And he says, "You see these things that surrounded us, they weren't quite people yet. They were quite strange, but you see what they were frogs, shaped like us. Well, kind of." And then he pauses. "Never quite gotten that line right. We need to, but anyway, now you see, as they came closer, staring with those eyes, they each held spears above their heads, pointing down at us. They circled around and hopped, closing us farther in until we were backed to a tree, sweat pouring from my chin. We looked around. We knew we couldn't fight. The numbers were too great. we were to be defeated by the frogs of all people in the swamp so great. Well, as we looked around, we knew we'd fallen far. There's nowhere else for us to go. Our journey was at an end. Then one stepped forward, and in a croaking tone, he called to us with grand pleas. And he said, and your father swells up as he starts this, "Today you will not die. You may be our foe, humans, but you will survive. You see, we have come to find you because there is a foe for us to fight." We stood there in shock, surprised at our fame, at our fortune, or maybe just another chance for doom. Either way, we didn't complain. We took him at his word. Then together, with creatures, we fought a terrible foe. Old Snaggletooth, they called him. Creature mighty and grand. We slew the beast together. And then we joined their band. And so there's the tale of the Bullywugs, the people of the swamp. At first, we thought they'd kill us. At first, we thought we'd die. But you see, we joined them. And now we are friends. So remember, the next time that you see a foe across from afar, a very foe might just be your Jasper. You know the line. Finish the line, Jasper. It sort of rhymes. Come on, Jasper. You got it. Starts with an F.
Friend.
Your friend. And then he strums his invisible lute as he chuckles, and even Leslie laughs with it despite herself. And then he comes back and he puts a shoulder on both you and Leslie at the same time. And he gets kind of like his serious dad face on. And he says, "Now, Jasper, Leslie, remember, even though you might sometimes fight, you are always family. And family will always stay together, no matter what." Back to Cholt. Jasper.
Yes.
You catch a glimpse of something strange in the rain. You're not quite sure how long it's been. It looks like a body.
Oh. Is it moving?
It's not.
Oh. It's probably nothing. There's several bodies on our walk up here.
It seems oddly familiar in a way. You swear you can recognize the clothes.
Whose clothes?
Kamakani's.
Recognizing the clothes, Jasper just
Or I should say the Constellations in general, because they all have the same clothes.
right. It's so not knowing if it's
Last you saw it was Marcius.
okay. So it could be Marcius over there. Jasper just shouts, "Hey, you! You okay over there?"
No response.
Don't mind me checking how many spell slots I have left. Jasper shouts, "Show's not over yet!" And casting Healing Word for 7 points of healing on whoever it is.
Kamakani, you are conscious with 7 hit points.
Am
You are.
awesome. Where am I right now?
So you shake your head and sit up. You have a pounding headache from where you were violently slammed face first into a tree.
Yeah.
And looking around, you see that you are sitting at the edge of the trees. Up above you, you can see the spire. And well, you can't really see that far up to the top, but you can see in the dark the flame up there. Barely. It's blocked largely by the rain that's still coming down. Then you also see, feeling this healing, it comes from somewhere near base of the tower, and you see there's just a slight stream of like magic that puts itself into you as you're waking up. It just finishes.
But I'm not standing up. I'm still like, I'm kind of crumpled at the bottom of this tree.
Wet napkin.
Who am I? Apparently, yeah, I guess it's probably Kamikani, since I'm so near to being dead. He kind of sits up, rubs at his face.
You're awake.
Can I hear that?
Hey.
You can't hear it in detail, but you can hear faintly the noises. It's hard to hear through this pounding rain.
Kamakani kind of looks towards the voice. He stands up slowly, making sure that his legs are working all right. They're not working all right, but at least they're working. And he kind of moves very slowly in the direction of the voice.
Jasper, you're able to see as the figure comes closer to you, far faster than Kamakani is. As Kamakani does not have dark vision, and you do. Kamakani is coming towards you. After, when Kamakani is about 15 feet away from you, you're able to make that out.
Kamakani? Is that you?
It's me. And here I thought you were dead.
I thought you promised you'd stay away.
That's true. But we did get into a bit of a situation now, didn't we? There's your arm right here. How did that happen?
You like accidentally kick it.
Yeah, no, like on purpose.
Hey. That's not yours.
I could tell that. I'm rather lucky it's not. Could have been me. Ugh. Kamakani kind of strides over. He's doing a good job pretending not to be bleeding out. And sort of sits down in front of you.
No. Why are you still here?
Well, answer me this first. How far away do you think the others are?
I don't know. The only thing I remember was being at the top. I got stabbed a bunch of times. And then he looks down and there's still a javelin stuck in his chest. And I don't really remember how, but I remember falling and then hitting. And now I'm down here. I don't know how long ago that was. I don't know how long it's been. I don't know if anyone else is still alive. I don't know if I'll be still alive.
Scott, is the javelin still in my good dude Jasper here?
Yeah, barely. The ground kind of shoved it out most of the way.
Kamakani very lightly puts his hand on top of the shaft of the javelin, just running his fingers up and down it. His eyes light up at your noise of pain. He says, they wouldn't even question it, you know?
Question what?
I don't have to kill you. The only... Give my conscience. Go away. Leave conscience. I don't have to kill you. The only real reason I have is the promise I just made to a monster, but
what
my
promise?
Is nothing, does it? Why shouldn't I kill you?
Because you can't keep your other promise. You promised you'd stay away. Yet you came back. And what other promise did you make?
Well, I just told one of those creatures, what did our good friend Azaka call them? The Terra folk?
The Terra folk, yes.
Yes, I did just promise one of those I'd kill you. You killed a lot of this individual's friends.
They've killed a lot of other people.
Are we all keeping track again? I thought the war kind of shook that tendency out of us. It really doesn't matter.
It's not about just numbers. It's about the whole principle of the thing. They've taken and killed. We've killed and taken. We're all the same.
That, at least, is true. Tell me, Jasper, do you often have nightmares?
Every day since I've left Sharn. And I'm living one right now.
Do you hear them in your own voice?
Sometimes. Sometimes it's the voices of characters I've played. Sometimes it's the voices of loved ones. Oftentimes it's the voices of strangers.
I have such a hard time picturing you in the dark. It would make it much easier to kill you if I was certain.
I can help, but if you do decide to kill me, can you make one promise and actually keep it this time?
My promises mean nothing, Jasper, but I am curious to see what you might ask.
If you ever find yourself in Sharn and find a poorly dressed human bard man, his name's Beryl, that's my father. He's married to an orc woman. Let them know.
Your mother.
Yeah, it's my mother.
I do know how family trees work, thank you.
Yes, well. Let them know I didn't go without a fight. Let them know I tried. I kept my promise as long as I could.
What did you promise, Jasper?
That I'd make it back. That I'd stay alive. I'd help others. I wouldn't give up.
So dreadfully noble. What?
In the back of your head, you start to hear incoherent whispering.
Kamakami's hand freezes on the javelin. His eyes like flicker, or his one eye, I guess he doesn't have to, starts like flickering, almost like he's having, like he's trying to look in all directions at once. It's a really weird thing to observe. And he doesn't say anything. His voice just kind of cuts off.
As he's doing that, Jasper looks at him and says, "Here, I'll make it a little bit easier for you to see me." And Jasper casts dancing lights around him to light up the area.
What do your dancing lights look like, Jasper?
They look kind of like spotlights. They a little more conical than an orb, but they're bright white lights, something that you would see somebody use to light up a dark stage. Just a focused torchlight, but brighter.
Kamakani, Jasper looks utterly terrible right now, like totally destroyed, stab wounds, claw marks. You think that he would be covered in blood if it weren't for this rain. Each of you are sitting in a solid inch of mud too. But that's kind of hard to pay attention to because the whispers leave your head and start coming from all around you. Incoherent.
Say what?
Incoherent, but all encompassing.
Yeah. He lets go of the javelin, turns around. He
What? Afraid to kill someone while you can actually look into their eyes?
Shut up. I can hear them.
Oh, what? Is your conscience finally talking to you? Are the voices of those you killed finally coming back?
Oh, I didn't tell him.
No, you just told other people too. That's right.
Violence.
Or what? You're gonna kill me?
Probably. But I would
Oh,
figure out what is going on first. I haven't heard this in a very long time. And he's listening like very intently. It looks weird, like man looks insane, just kind of like spinning his head all around in every which direction. His hands are balled into fists.
With
Jasper doesn't see anything or hear anything weird, right? Okay.
the whispers
This man's
continue
delusional.
to rise in intensity, but not in coherence, seeming to get closer and closer and closer until they all overlap into one single voice, Connie's voice, and it just says, "Follow." Then you feel a burning, searing pain as your scar moves slowly down from your eye. Feels like somebody's dragging a blade all the way down until it covers your heart. And you're able to interpret this as a direction. You're looking for a heart. Back up top.
Are you? We're going back up top. Okay, I'll shut up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have my moment quietly.
We're just gonna gloss past all of that.
So
Else is crying.
you're standing on the top of Firefinger. 5 of you, where there used to be 7. You didn't see Marcia's fall, but you did see that Terrafolk fly off. You definitely saw Jasper fall.
Yeah, we're probably dead. Don't worry about us.
I'm fine. It takes more than that to kill me.
The rain is bouncing off the stones, and you see Azaka is still standing out in the open, totally like she's completely covered in blood that's being washed away, and it is clear that none of it is her own, as all of it is dark.
That's great for her. Great. So everybody, it's all done then. There's no more bad boys.
You just hear one last screech echoing out in the distance.
Yeah. Zephyrus is having a time. He's having a time. He, after he sees that everybody is like not dead up here, he immediately like runs to the edge and tries to like look down. Did I see where Jasper, like in the general direction Jasper fell?
Down.
Down.
Well, like he's trying to pinpoint, he's trying to find Jasper. He's trying to see where he is.
You definitely can't see in detail that far down with
Yeah.
this much rain going on.
Uh-huh.
You can see in the dark, but not that far. And it's hard to make out details beyond 60 feet. And the bottom of the Firefinger is far below your ability to see.
He says like a curse in Elvish and turns back to Azaka. It's like, how do we get that? How do we get down?
I don't know any better way than the way we got up.
We have to go down now.
I found a quicker way.
Jasper, be quiet. You're down on the ground bleeding out.
Shut up, dead men don't talk.
He's not dead yet.
I ain't dead yet.
I'm not dead.
I'm not dead
So-
yet.
I'll go for a walk.
You're looking over this edge, and yeah, you do not see any sign. Azaka's standing there. She seems to be stunned almost. Everybody else is inside of that small area.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
yeah.
I was just saying, trying to think of what to say. So
Okay.
you go.
Cool. Nephis is gonna walk out to where Azaka and Zephyrus are. And oh man. Nephis is like a little bit freaked out, but is also like, it's okay. I've done this before. We're fine. So Nephis is gonna approach them and say, both of you should come under the shelter while we figure out what we want to do next.
We have to go down. We have to go and see if they're all right. This isn't. No,
It might not be the best idea to attempt a descent while it's raining like it is right now.
What if they're hurt? What if they're his face has gone like very like pale.
Zephyrus, you were able to catch a glimpse, all of you were, and the way that Jasper left the edge of the cliff was being thrown by the javelin that was stuck through his chest.
Yeah.
The way that Jasper left.
way
I'm
that he
fine.
left.
Don't worry about me.
You know, his exit stage direction. A little bit more.
Exit stage down.
In Nephis's mind, Jasper's dead. Like Nephis is like, there's no way that guy survived that. He's dead. We need to move on. Like, he was a nice kid. He was a nice kid, super, like, but, like, bro, he's gone. There's
He
nothing
bought a
we can
shield.
do
He
at
gave it
this
to me. We'll pick up his gold on the way back.
point. No,
Nevis
listen,
is
Nephis
just
like,
sitting there like, what a nice kid. He was never meant to be out here.
and I know I probably shouldn't say that. Thankfully, Nephis has learned some manners over time. So Nephis is just gonna say, Zephyrus, let's just go. Let's just figure out what we want to do with everyone. Vamonos.
I can't. I just. We're losing people, and we can't lose people. I can't. He's just gonna kind of keep crouching there, just kind of looking down. The rain kind of. He's like trying. He's trying. To figure out what he wants to do.
Nephis is gonna like look at Azaka and be like, and like, Azaka, what do you think we should do?
She looks kind of startled, and she says, I don't know. It is dangerous. It was dangerous to climb the cliffs when it was dry. I don't know how safe a descent would be. I don't like it up here either, though. It feels too exposed.
I agree. I do you know, like, it's pretty rainy here, I imagine. Do you know how long storms like usually last? Is there a way to tell? Or
Unlike this, sometimes they rain themselves out quickly and turn to a drizzle. Sometimes they last for days. She narrows her eyes, looking up and kind of feeling the rain, looking at what's above her. She just takes in a deep breath, closes her eyes for a second, and then she says, I think this one will not last too much longer, maybe a couple hours. Of course, if your friends are dying down there, that won't save them. If they survive that somehow, I saw Marcius do something before Jasper fell. I don't know what it was.
yeah.
Can I hear them talking?
Yeah, this is a really pretty small area. Like the whole top of this thing is maybe it's like 40 feet. So it's pretty easy to hear anybody talking about this.
Zephyrus is going to ball his fists, and as he hears them talking, and he's going to close his eyes and start mumbling something to himself.
Is he about to perceive what is going on?
And he's going to turn. Yeah, he's going to turn to them and be just like, sorry for the panic attack in advance. And he's going to bring like his fingers up to his face and close his eyes, and he's going to there's a purple flash, and that motif of an eye on his forehead lights up in that purple light again, and he's going to jump off the cliff.
He's a monk. He's fine.
What?
Zephyrus, as you plummet through the rain, you just close your eyes. You
Aye.
have a familiar voice. No, there are two right now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You hear it, the familiar voice in your head. It just says, remember, when it's stressful is when you need to be calm. You need to keep a clear head. You need to think. As you plummet downwards, your fall slows. And you start to go much slower. A faint aura of purple energy going down. Now, the mechanics of how this work is that when you do slow fall, you fall 60 feet, and slow fall doesn't have a limit on it, so you just use it as your reaction over and over and over again until you get the bottom. But
That's cool. That's very neat. Very cool that I can just do that.
And the mechanics of how slow fall works actually is the farther you fall, the higher the damage reduction gets. So
Nice.
by the time you hit the end, you have reduced your fall by well over 500 points of damage.
That's pretty cool.
So in the meantime, so the rest of you on top, you just see Zephyrus just jump straight off.
Div just about follows. He gets like he just has this like reflexive moment of like getting to the edge. He sends a couple of like pebbles skittering down into the abyss, and he just like stands at the edge and looks down at this sheer cliff. Exactly how sheer is it?
Oh, it's very sheer. Like it's a straight edge. And actually, Div, as you get near the end, the stones underneath your weight like start to crumble near this direct edge, to the point where you have to step back to avoid falling.
So you're saying I couldn't per se like
Do not try to surf down.
I was gonna say
Cliff,
No, like it is straight up and down.
I was gonna say do like a pickaxe thing, but it's my hand where I just dig my claws in and glide down.
I mean, you could certainly try to do something like that.
Yeah, in fact, Emrys, whose last order before his master got yoinked to the end of time, last order was to protect you, and is in fact going to stand between you and the edge of the cliff.
Div is like looking over the edge, and this dog is just like, no.
No.
Not.
Nephis, Azaka has the same expression that you do on your face.
Do they secretly have some wings or something? Does anyone know? Because oh my.
Sorry about the panic attack in advance. What a legendary line.
We can still go back the way we came up, right?
You could. A lot of how you came up was on the outside of on ladder structures. So you went through 2 rock tunnels and a couple of ladder structures.
Right. About how quickly could we go back through all of that?
It took a while the first time.
Yeah, it took us so much time.
We're going down this time.
You could do it faster, not safer.
Yeah, I went down pretty fast.
Okay. I guess we should go down. That way we can at least keep their freaking bodies from being eaten by the animals that are probably waiting down there. Sorry, that was very gruesome.
No, you're right. That is how it would happen.
Okay, question. There was nothing in the room underneath the big torch.
No, there were a bunch of chests.
Okay, but like aside from the chests, because I don't care about the chests.
And
Unless there's
several makeshift what look like nests almost.
Say again.
What
Sorry.
look like nests, piles of like branches combined in a somewhat circular patterns. Several of them as well.
Shut up. You're a walking corpse. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
But there's no like other way around anything. There's no way up to the torch itself.
No, the torch is just hovering up there, and you can feel a searing heat even from down where you are coming from that.
What kind?
Fire, like really painful fire, like metal melting fire. That hot, like a forge.
Okay. Fine. Whatever. Yeah, Div will take like one last look around to see if there's any other way down aside from just going over the edge and cat curtaining it, which Emrys isn't going to let him do.
No dying. You're my best friend. You can't die.
I would have been fine. It would be like one check.
This is an argument you can't have right now. So
This is the internal argument that Div is having with Emrys. Like, Div is trying to walk towards the edge, and Emrys keeps walking in front of him. And he's just like
It's like, nope.
mildly gesticulating at this dog.
there is still the tunnel that you got up through here. Like you didn't get up to this top level through ladders, you got up through a tunnel. So there's that rock tunnel that goes down if you wanted to go through that.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if there was a faster way down than the way
Doesn't appear like it.
Great, fantastic. Div is ignoring everybody else and just going back the way they came.
Tunnel time.
Like as he like walks back the way they came, he'll like do a cursory like, are they still alive and not actively dying kind of glance, and then he'll keep going. Like he just like triages as he walks.
Okay, I guess we're leaving now then. Cool.
All right, Div, how fast are you trying to get down this tunnel?
People are dying. We're just keeping walking. We're ignoring everything else very pointedly.
How fast are you trying to get down this lovely tunnel?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Roll me an athletics check with disadvantage.
Great. I'm blind. Okay, that's not bad. Am I proficient in athletics? I am. That's a 16.
16. Okay. Div, you managed to cling with your metallic fingers and drag them down as you slide with a violent scraping metal on stone all the way down through this tunnel, just clattering down at a much faster pace. It still takes you an annoyingly long time, but you do come out the end and manage to land with a loud crunch of your heels crunching into the stone below. Nephis, how fast are you going down this tunnel?
I'm definitely not going as fast as Div. And I honestly am just a little bit scared to go down this tunnel right now. As much as I don't want people to be dead, but I also don't want to die. So like a good, solid, cautious pace. I
Go
will
ahead and give
say.
me an athletics check then.
Okay. That's. Oh, I thought that was a. Wow, I rolled a lot better than I thought. Okay, never mind. 22.
22. All right. So with that cautious pace, you're able to brace yourself as you move slowly down this tunnel.
Rolling down.
Move down the wall. Zach kind of reluctantly follows you, looking down with just an expression pretty similar to yours. And then you two start heading down, taking a much slower, more cautious pace. Div, when you hit the bottom, where are you going?
The way we came.
Okay, so you go back out and you find yourself seeing a fuzzy view. You can hear the rain. You can't ever see individual droplets of rain. It kind of just casts a fuzz over everything, including the ladders which you climbed down on.
I'm sure it's fine. Be fine. They're still there, probably.
You will be making this check with disadvantage.
Okay. Is this in another athletics or a perception check to find the ladders?
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
Emrys is following you mechanically. There's no like life to him whatsoever. He's just kind of robotically following the last order.
Do you want to have me roll or do you want to roll me an athletics check for Emrys on the descent?
Or
Hey Scott, that's an 8, by the way. This is where Div dies. Good run, everybody.
don't die. Stop it. The dog got a 15.
A 15?
Yeah.
Okay, dog is good.
The dog is not strong enough to save a 600
The dog will try.
lizard.
Depending
So
on
Emrys walks up to Div as Div starts to descend this ladder. What is Emrys gonna do?
Emrys is gonna is actively falling at this point.
No, this is before Div starts going down the ladder.
Emrys is gonna go first.
Because that'll help.
Yeah,
When
I mean,
Div
he doesn't
falls.
know, my guy.
This is how Emrys dies. Crushed by a 600-pound metal lizard.
All right, go ahead and roll an athletics check for Emrys. And Emrys is also going to have disadvantage because of the rain.
Cool. Athletics, baby. Where are my dog stats? They're way down here. 1 second.
Oh, no, sorry, it's acrobatics. My bad.
Oh, acrobatics. Okay. 11. Oh, 13.
13. That's interesting. So
Why did he say that? Why did he
I
say
hate
that?
it when Scott says things are interesting. Fills me with the
That's the sound of the DC was 25, actually.
So Emrys starts to climb down this ladder, and Div, you jump down and you climb down 2 rungs before the rungs that you're grabbing snap. Zephyrus, you land in the mud, sinking up 2 inches.
One.
My white Yeezys.
My
Jasper and Kamakani, you hear a loud sound coming from over off to the side. Jasper, you're able to see Zephyrus. Kamakani, you're not quite able to make Zephyrus out.
No,
Are
not
we,
another one.
is this immediately following the shenanigans that just occurred to Kamakani?
Yes.
Okay, for reference, Kamakani has fallen to his knees and is crying. They
Neat.
are tears of joy.
Neat.
Here's this noise. he like rubs his face against his jacket. His face is just split into this enormous smile. It's a really weird expression to see on his face. And he stands up, waiting for whatever made that sound to come over here.
Cool. Once Zephyrus like reaches the ground, he's going to immediately call out like, Jasper, Marcius. He's just calling. He's like, I don't know where they are. Can I see anything? Can I see them?
You got there's spotlights on Jasper.
Yep. Jasper is spotlighted.
You just hear, I'm over here.
Zephyrus is sprinting over. Like, oh gods. Jasper. Oh gods. And he's white. He's like, he's so pale.
They throw you off too?
What? No. How can I help? What can I do?
You're not a professional surgeon, are you?
No.
Well,
No. No.
don't mind me. I think I'll be all right.
No.
He just holds up his one arm.
No.
I'll be all right.
No.
Kamakane starts chuckling at the pun in the background.
Zephyrus like whips around. He's like, wait.
Oh yeah, that jerk is back.
Oh.
I made some promise about killing us or something.
Kamakane smiles, nods to Jasper and says, looks like my chance to kill you first is gone. And then Zephyrus, he's gonna put you up against a wall and put a knife to your throat.
Yay!
As
Roll
that
to
happens, Zephyrus, I'm so sorry about this, but you're both gonna need to make Constitution saving throws.
That's great, man. That's great, man.
And
That's great, man. That's a good roll, Emma. Good roll.
It's a bit of a delayed reaction from Jasper, but as Kamakani lunges and puts a knife to Zephyrus's throat, he just yells, I thought you promised to stay away. And with stay away, Jasper casts Thunder Wave.
I got a 17, or Kamakane got 17. I am not affiliated with Kamakane.
I got a 7.
I don't think I have enough D8s currently out for this.
Oh no.
That's a lie, I do. So you got a 7, Zephyrus? I'm sorry about this.
Yeah. Me too.
8, 9.
Sarcastic, that was a good roll, Emma.
Yeah. That's a good roll, man.
So Zephyrus is gonna take.
Really rolled well for once and was like patting herself on the back.
So
No.
Zephyrus, you're gonna
Level
take.
5.
You're gonna end up taking 13 points of thunder damage, and you're pushed 10 feet away from Jasper's position.
Cool.
Kamakani, you're gonna take half of that.
Okay. Half of 13 is 6.
Yes.
Perfect.
Dang it, I was close.
The rest of you, all of you, because fun fact about Thunderwave, it's audible within
Oh,
300
yes.
feet.
Yeah, you hear my voice 300 feet away.
Yep, you hear that echoing. Sounds like Jasper saying, stay away in the storm.
Jasper, are you still up? I mean, not Jasper, Zephyrus.
Yeah, I've got 6 hit points, but I'm good.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Guys,
Cool. Kamakani is going to keep approaching you.
Ow.
He pulls, he like pushes, what does he do? He kind of tosses the knife, and reaches his other hand into the bag. It's like he's reaching to the bottom of the bag. It's very clear that he's reaching under pretty much everything else. He pulls a length of wire out. in his-
Man, that's just like someone like you. Won't even finish off someone who's on the ground, barely dead, yet can still do all of this. You're just gonna walk away from me.
You're quite annoying. Technically, I don't have to kill Zephyrus either, but it's been a very long time since I've had any fun.
You're still
To look for.
going at it.
Tobin?
Yeah.
Can you make me an athletics check?
I can do that.
Oh,
For
easy.
Emrys.
For what?
Emrys.
Emrys, athletics. Emrys got a 14.
Okay.
I just want as Jasper to just keep tossing spells, but I don't want to
Div,
break
Yeah.
anything.
as you fall, Emrys grabs onto you, does not stop the fall entirely, and the two of you tumble downwards from well over 100 feet in the air, scraping and sliding along the side of Firefinger. Then near the end, Emrys has got their jaws clamped onto your tail. They manage to grab onto a ledge with one of the ledges with their paws. The force of the fall instantly rips them in half. Sprockets and various mechanical pieces falling all around you. But you are only going to take a lot less falling damage than you would have.
Coercive dice.
Okay, Div,
Mhm.
you are going to take 21 points of bludgeoning damage as you hit the ground.
I lived.
He lived.
I am devastated.
I've got 2 hit points and a dead dog. Let's go.
No.
So as this encounter is happening, all of you hear a thud, like way louder than Zephyrus. Zephyrus's noise was noticeable. This sounds like something just exploded. And then you hear smaller things falling and hitting other splashes, large splashes in the mud all around you.
It's the ground at 10.
Div, you killed our dog.
No, the dog wanted this. The dog was like, me or the giant metal lizard whom I love with my entire soul because I'm an extension of the Constellation. The Constellation would do literally anything for Div. And then he was like, time to die.
Valid, I guess.
Poor Emrys.
Do
Doing.
Azaka and I hear this happening as well? Are we at the top of the?
You are at the top, like you managed to get down to the bottom and look just in time to see Div break off the ladder and plummet. But you, Nephis, are human. You cannot see very far in the dark. So all you do is see Div fall, plummeting into the darkness, and then you
Ooh.
hear a crash.
Oh my!
There goes.
The line after that.
I'm gonna yell down the thing and be like, are you alive?"
Is anyone alive?
Do I hear that?
Make a perception check, Div.
Make a perception check. Yeah, my ears are ringing. No, I do not hear that. Fun fact.
Cool. He's dead.
That is
They're
my
dead.
That's a 6.
I'll have Zephyrus, Kamakani, and Jasper make that check as well.
A perception check?
I got a 16.
Oh,
Div's head is ringing like a gong. He ain't hearing anything.
I got an 18.
18.
Yes.
Jasper and Zephyrus, what did you get again?
I got a 12.
Okay. Jasper and Kamakani, you're able to hear that.
I'm too busy bleeding.
You can't really make out what it is, but you just hear Nephis calling from up above.
Awesome.
Well, we know Nephis is alive.
Go up the road then.
It's like very big and very heavy, just hit the ground.
Div, you stand up. Specks of fire leaking all over the place.
He does not look great. He is like actively bleeding lava at this point.
Ouch.
Really cool to look at. Doesn't feel great.
Hey, we're both losing our juices. It's okay.
We're all losing our juices at this point.
You can't just say that.
And as you notice, Jasper, you see lying somewhat, Div's entryway is really obvious. And you see coming down after Div, landing next to him a couple seconds later, is Emeris's head. The rest of the body is in small pieces.
Oh,
Kamakani sort of grins. He lets out like a sort of ironic laugh. He says, "Now that reminds me of the real Emeris."
you know, Kamakani, if you live through this encounter, that's something I gotta ask you about. Div, welcome. As you can see, I'm okay. Mostly. Well, I'm all right.
Div, you may be blind. He is not okay.
I am blind, not stupid.
Kamakani, our pal here, I guess made some promises to the Terra folk up there and is currently trying to dispatch Zephyrus permanently.
I would like not to not die. That would be preferable. He's like doubled over up against wherever he like landed. He's like doubled over. He's like,
Yeah, I'm I'm sorry about that, Zephyrus.
it's fine. It's fine. He like
Haven't
pulls
done
out
that.
his short swords.
It's
If I'm sorry for whatever happens next.
Div takes a second to kind of get his bearings again. He looks a little monstrous right now with how damaged he is. His jaw is kind of like awkwardly cocked to one side. And lava kind of leaks out of one of his eyes as he looks at all of you. He's still gripping his mace and his shield.
Very neat.
That's the fighting spirit.
His blind gaze eventually settles on you, Kamakani.
Hey,
Um,
Kamakani's just kind of, he's still kind of grinning as he flexes the garrote, just tense and then gives it slack and tense and gives it slack. He's waiting for you to talk.
it takes a second for Div to remember how to. He says, "What did you promise?"
Well, to be perfectly specific, I promised that one of you would be dead by morning and then I'd kill the rest of you in the next 3 weeks. I don't really have any intention of fulfilling that because honestly, it's not very much. Well, for one thing, it's not very conceivable, especially you. And for the other thing, the Terrafolk can't do anything to me now.
Seemed very likely to me just 2 seconds ago that you are very much going to go through with this plan.
I was at least going to kill you. I was going to kill Jasper, but then we got interrupted, and I was going to kill you. It's nothing. I suppose it is something personal now.
It is. Trust me, it is.
Div, make me a perception check.
I'm great at those.
Tom guy's still.
All I
Good.
will say is I probably
18.
shouldn't have yelled extremely loud in a forest where there's lots of things that want to eat us.
I got an 18.
You notice that the scar that Kamakani has always had is not there.
Kamakani's grinning. He looks manic. He says, "I'm supposed to follow a heart. To find one, at least, and I think I might know where to start. You don't have one, Div. You're made of metal. I know that you keep forgetting about that, but I'm just going to put that out there so that while Jasper and Zephyrus are here considering, they don't get confused. So you just stand there and have a moment about it, and I will get back to you in a moment." He spins around to look at Jasper. "Just wait."
Div, you're really gonna let him talk to you like that? Doesn't really matter what you're made of. And from what's dripping out the side of your face, looks like you're more than just metal. And really, if we're just the sum of our parts, we're all just goop and squish.
Div, you
And
notice
honestly,
Jasper's arm lying on the ground for the first time.
Goop and Squish, I don't think, would be able to land as gracefully as Zephyrus did, or as adventurously as I did.
I do not need reassurance, but thank you. I recommend
Well,
being quiet.
I mean, I've never known how to be quiet, honestly.
You are actively dying, Jasper.
Aren't we all?
Quick
Kamakani,
question.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
how do you know that you have one? A heart.
Ugh, I might not,
Oh,
but I've been
snap.
certain the angel does.
From what I've experienced, at least
I haven't been successful yet, but
you're
I
the
am
only one.
in control.
Kamakani, out of all the people in that body, you're the only one who does not have a heart. So if you're searching for one, I would let somebody else out.
Jasper,
Hello.
be quiet.
Be quiet. I'm over here dying. I at least want a couple good words before I'm gone.
Jasper, you are in shock. I recommend you stay quiet and you try to conserve whatever energy you have left until we can figure out how to deal with it.
Kamakani kind of waves a dismissive hand. He says, "Liru can deal with it. Later, of course, if Jasper survives. It's not really of any consequence to me."
Kamakani,
Yes, Div.
do you know what I think?
What do you think, Div?
I think that you do have a heart. I think everybody has a heart. I think everybody is capable of using it. I think that you are scared to use it.
Kamakani's eyebrow creeps up. He says, "That's very sweet of you to say, Div. You think you know me?"
No, I do not. And I'm not going to pretend that I do. But you know you. and you will know if what I say is true or not. I know that everybody has a heart. Everybody has a soul. And in the wonderful chaos that is life, everybody can make their own choices. I think you need to start making them, because you haven't really been making them.
I don't think you would be very pleased with the sort of person this body would be if I was around all the time. I really do appreciate the sentiment.
I am not talking to you specifically. I am talking to all of you.
They can't hear you.
I don't care. You can hear me, and you can influence the others. And whoever may still be hiding in there that you may be hiding from me, they can hear me too.
What do you want?
I want to help you.
No, you don't.
You assume that I lie.
Of course you lie.
Why would I?
Why wouldn't you? I have never heard a true word in my life.
Well, then perhaps you simply have been talking too much.
That is probably true. He smiles and kind of spins around himself. He says, I really hate talking. I've been doing it far too much, which was why I was going to try and get myself a little more level, make myself feel a little better. It would be very fun to kill Zephyrus. He's a liability, you know. He knows it too.
And you are not?
I never said I was a liability. Huh? Well, I could be a liability. I am a liability to you now that I'm trying to kill your friends, I suppose.
Yes.
So, are you going to stop me?
That depends on what you do next.
I'm going to roll it to hit on Div,
No.
just to drop him specifically. Even Kamakani is not going to roll to kill Div.
You can go ahead and try that, but I need you to roll initiative, all of you.
That's great.
My initiative is a 21.
That's so
You
many.
really want to not give.
That's a 15.
12.
That is also a 12 for me.
Don't mind us. We're bleeding out over here.
Yep.
I'll get to you in a second.
All right, Kamakani, you're up first.
All right, I'm going to roll it to hit on Div. I am going to get a 17.
It's not gonna hit.
Not going to hit.
You think
All right,
hitting
I'm
Div is
going to
that
roll.
easy? Kamakani, what does this attack look like?
Second to hit. He kind of he's going to use the knife. The back of it just towards Div's already busted jaw. It misses the first time. He's going to roll a second to hit. That's going to be a 23.
That'll hit.
All right, he is going to deal 4 bludgeoning damage.
My guy got 2 hit points.
So Div, Kamakani comes at you, and just off of sheer reaction, you raise your hand and the knife deflects off of it. But Kamakani, you have the jump on Div, and you manage to get in and hit him. But unfortunately, despite this fall, Div is made of very hardy stuff. You were aware of this, hoping to get maybe that the gambit would work. It appears that it has not. Div, it is your turn.
Oh,
Oh, he's still up, everyone.
Oh.
Scott's having mercy.
Okay.
okay. Lunchtime. What do I do? You just tried to kill me.
I didn't try to kill you, I tried to knock you out. It was pretty clear that he had the blade. He was using
Yeah,
it.
you were trying to punyo me. I get it. Div may be blind, but he's not blind.
At this point, Div, there is most of your vision has been blocked. So you can't see super clearly, but you can still see this close to you, which is to say Kamkani.
Yeah, Div is not having a great time personally. You're at like 1 hit point, right?
I'm not on a lot of hit points.
But on a scale from like
Kamkani
I
is
mean,
super dead
1 to
looking.
6.
Yeah.
I look extremely bad. It's Kamakani, so he always looks like
On a scale of 1 to max hit points, he should be
I'm
real
calling
close
you
to
back
0.
bad. He's
On a
doesn't
scale
look
On
though.
a scale of like 1 to 8.
on a scale of 1 to max hit points, he looks real low.
He looks pretty low.
Jasper doesn't know, but Cameron knows what happened.
Div, you're a medic.
Yeah, I am
Kamkani
a
is
medic.
barely conscious right now.
Cool, great, fantastic. Can I just like gently slap him?
Yeah, make me an unarmed strike.
Like you what?
Unarmed strike. Just make it to hit.
Okay. Da-da-da-da-da.
Using strength.
Yeah.
And just strength, no proficiency.
Hey, does a 23 hit?
Yes, 23 hits.
Great. Using strength. Is that just straight strength?
That is 1 plus your strength.
Great. That's
Yeah, he's going down.
great.
Can I be a little dramatic about it though?
Absolutely.
Okay. Where do you slap him?
You like go for him and he kind of just like puts up a hand and then uses that same hand to just like hit you square in the face.
Hmm.
Like not enough to break anything, but definitely enough to like
Just
knock you out and give you a
face
nose.
palm.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, Kamakani stumbles back. His nose is bleeding. It's like all over his teeth, which makes him look all but animalistic when he starts to laugh. It's just this completely delighted noise. And he says, I am still in control. You would defy me. It's clear that he's not talking to any of you.
Hmm.
You would refuse me, Angel. Don't think I cannot still punish you. And then his eyes roll back in his head and he starts to fall. But right before he hits the ground, his fingers uncurl and the weapons drop from his hand. And Kamakani falls away too, just for a second. But you can see a child's face. They're scrawny and their hair is this shock of russet. And that same horrible blood-soaked smile is still on their face, but it doesn't quite reach their eyes. This person's eyes look terrified. That smile doesn't fade at all, even as it shifts to silently mouth a single word: help. And then the kid is gone, and there is just a silver, empty form unconscious on the ground in front of you.
Can Div catch them before they hit the ground?
Yeah, also you can do that, Div.
Great. I would hope so. He's got like a 15 in strength, so he can just like hold.
I mean, you basically just like boom, and then just grab them as they're dropping.
I know I'm probably dying, but Zephyrus, are you seeing this?
I guess that is a little surreal, right?
Did Kamakani try and hit Div, and then Div smacked him, and a baby showed up?
Yes.
You guys just
What-
watched him smack
what
the
is-
soul out of Kamakani.
What is happening? What?
Hey.
I,
Yeah.
a memory flashes through your head.
Fantastic.
Of something slamming onto you from behind, crushing you to the ground, not quite knocking you out. Your vision darkens and then comes back. You look around to see a place full of rubble. And then in front of you, you see standing defensively, foot back, covered in grime, mace out, red hair streaked with dirt and blood. It's Tetra, and you remember her name before the memory ends.
She.
Mom?
Div comes back to himself after that, kind of frazzled, or I guess more frazzled than he has already been, considering he just hit the ground at Mach 10 and is now holding an unconscious person. He kind of, like, he goes still, and he seems to stop registering his surroundings entirely, as he just kind of holds on to this blank changeling a little bit tighter. Still holding his mace. Still white knuckling his mace. I guess as much as a robot.
Mace, which you now recognize.
Yep. The mace. Her mace. Divinite flame.
Called that one? Bro.
What?
Nephis, you and Zaka are standing up there. You didn't hear any response.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Sorry.
They didn't hear the resounding gong of Kamakani's soul being slapped out of his body.
I mean, I started down, but I'm still very scared. And in my brain, Nephis is like, I can't believe this whole group of people just died. I cannot believe every single one of them is now freaking dead. Like, what have I gotten myself into? Yeah, so I'll start down the ladder, but once again, I'm just going very slow, and yeah.
All right, go ahead and make me an acrobatics check. Sorry.
Okay, and I still can't see, right? So I have to like feel it.
Yeah, you cannot see very far.
That's awesome. Oh no. Oh no. Please. I literally rolled a 7. So
Nephis also dies.
Ow.
I don't have another robot. I'm sorry, okay?
Luckily for Nephis, she went down with a certain somebody else.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Sokka
I
was
went down with-
following you.
the best human. She's not. I
And
love her.
as you are going down, you go to reach, you can't tell where these rungs are, and you go to reach one, and it seems that it was broken earlier, possibly when Div fell off, you're not quite sure, but there's one that should be there and is not. Then all of a sudden, your entire weight is just on one of these rungs, and these things cannot take that, and it snaps. But as it snaps and you fall, instantly Azaka reaches down with one hand and grabs you, managing to hold your entire bulk.
Oh,
She got a 23. So
let's go.
So much.
Oh my god. bless. I'm gonna be like, thanks.
She just looks down at you, and you can see like her face is just really pale. Her teeth are just gritted, and she's like, "Can you please just get down?"
Yep, but I will try. Yep. Mhm.
When she pulls her hand off the rock, make me a perception check.
Okay. 18.
You see as her hand pulls back that for a second it seems that on the end of her hands are sharp pointed claws before it shifts
Ooh.
back. You blink and that's gone.
The day must be getting to me. Okay, cool. Let's keep going down this ladder. I don't want to unpack that right now.
So you move down slowly, taking it one point at a time, and just for narrative speed here, we're just going to keep moving down the ladder. And you go down the tunnel as opposed to the ladder, as both of you decide rather quickly that the tunnel is safer than sheer rock. And you climb down, and in a process that takes you roughly a little bit over an hour, you make it safely down this cliff. Both of you absolutely terrified because you're climbing down a cliff in a full pouring rainstorm. Like, how terrible of an idea is that? As both of you are just going down, but you finally make it to the ground again. And even though it's squishy and it's muddy, it is there. It is ground. You are no longer on the edge of a cliff like you have been for this entire night.
Thanks,
As you
Zephyrus.
hit the bottom,
Thank Eberron. I don't know. Thank them all. They.
Azania nods,
Obviously.
grinning, and despite everything, just for a second when she hits the bottom with you, and she says, "Thank God thou for that." At this point, the rain has slowed and light has started coming up over the forest canopy.
It's the sun.
Because you've been in that tower for a very long time. But so Nephis, when you land, you see, or when you get to the bottom, well, what does she see actually? Let's see. What is going on down there with you? What are you doing?
So my arm is over there. That's about all I got.
A mess. That's what it comes down to. A mess. The only one relatively okay is Zephyrus.
How about 6 hit points? I'm doing just fine.
I screamed loud enough to throw Zephyrus 10 feet. So that happened. I'm still very sorry about that.
By the way, this
Okay.
is an hour
I'll
after
give you-
Kamakani was knocked out. Just so you know.
Oh, an hour.
Oh.
Oh,
Fun.
what have we been doing for an hour, guys? What have
Trying to
we been
figure out
doing?
what to do with an arm that's no longer attached.
Let's put the arm down.
Div has been
Let's
trying
not.
to take care of people.
No.
You keep,
Zephyrus is like
slipping and stumbling, Div, as your legs are in pretty bad condition.
Zeph is like hovering over Div, being like, "How can I help? I would like to help. I don't know how to help. I would like to help, but I don't know how."
Tobin, could you describe to me what the not anybody version of the constellation looks like?
It is kind of short, not necessarily young, but just like small, as if it was severely malnourished during important times of growth. It has like silver skin, its eyes are closed right now. Its hair is colorless. Everything about it is colorless. There's not a single feature that can be seen on this individual, except Scott. I actually don't know this. You do, though, theoretically. Do I have a prosthetic leg?
You do not.
Cool. That's really good to know, actually.
For now.
Yeah, it's the only actual like distinguishing quality about this thing is like a singular like mole mark on the side of its chin, and that's it. It just looks like someone sapped the color and put a little bit too much effort into a mannequin.
Hmm.
Cool. That's a changeling, all right. This is the trench coat that the weasel hide in.
That's the shell that all of them are using.
Yeah. Zeph is like, he's sitting down. He's like, he keeps like looking at the not person and like looking away, but then he just keeps like looking back, and then he looks to Jasper, and he's just sitting down at this point. He's just like, okay, all right, it's fine, it's fine, it's not fine, it's not fine, it's not fine. Oh.
Hey, Div, do you wanna? I don't want to tell you what to do, but you're a medic, right? Zephyrus might need some help. He's
I'm
a little
fine.
delusional.
I'm fine. I can hear you. I'm fine.
And you can tell that
I just
Jasper is
need-
bleeding out. There's no bandage over that, place where an arm used to go.
Yeah, I
No.
know. That's
It's
what
just
I'm working on.
There's
Active.
just
right now.
open
I'm
socket.
trying to figure out how to. Did the hour count as a short rest? Could it have counted as a short rest?
I'll give it to you.
Sweet,
Great.
sweet,
Ooh.
sweet,
20
sweet, sweet.
free hit points. God. You want to
Oh.
make me age at light speed.
Short rest, please.
Can give all of you hit points. Do I want to give you?
Yeah.
That's the question. Do you want to give me hit points?
Do I want to give you hit points?
No.
Jasper, what are you at, like hit point wise? I know over-wise you're actively bleeding out, but like what are you at?
One.
Okay. So
Ripped from the brink of death by my arm.
fair enough. I can give you like 15 hit points. And then I have 5 more to divide between Zephyrus and maybe the
I promise to be on my
Div, before we do all of this, can I hand you a bardic inspiration?
Sure. It doesn't this is just a channel divinity thing.
You don't roll a die to heal anything?
No, it's just an automatic.
Fine then, I'm keeping my inspiration.
I'm sorry. It's just a thing I can do. I'm just really good at healing.
No, you're
stuff. I just
good.
innately do that.
I'm trying to assist in any way possible.
Shut up.
Because we're
You're
all
dying.
dying.
Sit there and do nothing like a good little boy.
No, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk the whole time because that's what I do as an
So
actor.
Nephis, that's what's happening as you walk around the corner. And to your utter shock, all of them seem to be alive. I mean, Jasper's arm is sitting over there, but other than that, everybody seems to be alive, except that is for Emrys, whose head you see lying covered in mud.
How How?
I am a really good actor. I just pretended to die, and it worked.
At this point, Nephis is literally gonna like crouch down, like almost sitting in the mud, and be like, "What is happening right now?"
Is that better?
Well, I'm glad you're alive, even though I don't
How-
understand.
Div, how not dead am I?
You got 15 extra hit points back, my guy.
Cool.
So not a ton, but that should be less, like, significantly than your half of your hit points.
That's 15 times more than the HP I had before.
Keep in mind, as a short rest, you can expend hit dice if you want.
That's true. I can. I will probably do that.
So why do that? Your healer's right there, and you have 20 free hit points.
Div, you can also expend those. Each of
Actually,
you will have 4 equal to your class. Make sure to add con every time. Your hit dice are d8s all around, except for Nephis. But Nephis didn't get a short rest because Nephis was climbing down cliffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got 5 left. Zephyrus is at 6.
Yes.
Okay.
I should be okay.
Here is what I will do, because I am petty.
Oh boy.
Give Zephyrus 3, and I will give the Constellation 2.
Am I conscious now? Is that how that works?
You're conscious.
Awesome. You heal the body a little bit, and it turns gray and black and covered in scars, and it like blinks open its eyes, and Marcy says, "Ugh, I feel like I got hit by a lightning rail. What happened?"
Oh my god.
That is about what happened, yes.
Oh, they got those in Schult now. Can you put me down my head? Somebody broke my nose.
It's not broken. It is not broken. I was very careful to not break it.
You got into a fight. It was really cool. You should have saw the other guy.
Jasper.
Jasper, what happened to you? Oh,
I fell down.
I am so sorry. I did something. I tried. I don't know what I did. It must not have worked very well. I'm really sorry.
Well, I imagine it probably could have been worse. What you did probably helped.
I
Also,
that's
ow.
okay. What?
Also, ow.
Yeah. I might have some. No, probably not anymore. All right, he kind of woozily. Do you put him down in the mud?
Very gingerly, he sets you back on your feet and just like kind of keeps a hand on you to make sure you don't fall.
Marcy's kind of looks around at everyone. He looks happy when he sees Azaka. You got your mask, so this wasn't a flaming failure after all.
She nods and then, seeming kind of just as shocked as Nephis was at this whole thing going down, she then like shakes her head a little bit and she walks over to you, Jasper, and she says, "I must thank you and apologize for the danger that has befallen you."
I don't think I fully understood the ramifications of what I signed up for. And hey, I'm still alive, right?
She nods, but her face is still grim, and she says, "I had hoped that I would be fast enough. It appears that I am not quite as skilled as I thought I was. I'm
You did
sorry."
what you could. You did what you could.
Notably, Jasper, she looks totally fine.
Yeah.
Her clothing is in shreds, so she obviously got stabbed a lot, but she's fine.
Of course she is.
She's just built different.
Yeah. I was, and then I fell apart a little bit.
And then she stands up and she says to all of you, and she says, I thank you for accomplishing this for me. I am in your debt. I will take you where you wish to go. We can now go to the Oracle at Orolungra.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You forget about that. That's the whole reason we were here in the first place.
Listen, I think something's wrong. I feel very strange. I have been ever since we left New Syri, but it's not important. I'm sorry for forgetting, I suppose. Where is this oracle exactly?
The Oracle of Orolungra is hidden deep within the jungle. It is far from here, but not insurpassably far.
Doesn't require any climbing, does it? Because I
Not
don't think
that.
I'll be doing any of that anytime soon.
And she visibly shudders too, just as you do. We have
I've taken a lot of tumbles in my time, but none of them that bad.
I am impressed that you survived them. I do not think I would have.
I've been doing jumps and flips and falls since I was a little kid. Did it for work for a while.
Ah.
Not my proudest time, but money was money at the time.
That is good. Well, in order to get to Orolungra, we will have to cut across the jungle to the west. It is far to the west of here. Then we will be able to reach the Aldani Basin. We can use the canoes there to gain a little bit of speed. After we pass the Aldani, we can cross through a little further. And then through Mambala, that is a town. There is other civilization, even though they are small.
Are they
Mark
friendly?
kind of slaps the ground a little bit until he finds his bag, which is still thankfully attached to him. Pulls it, open his notebook, and tiredly starts writing down what she said.
I think it is best for all of us that we get some rest. And she looks around at all of you, who are just pretty much collectively as a group totally wrecked. And
Yeah.
she says, I can keep watch.
Just one question, and this is kind of to everybody. What should I do with that? And he just points at his other arm. I know that's mine, and I don't necessarily want to leave a physical part of myself here. So I've definitely left emotionally part of me here. They say this jungle takes a lot out of you, but I didn't know it would have been that literal. Has anybody got a shovel?
If you want help digging somewhere, I'll help you. I don't have a shovel, but
Yeah, I could use I could use a hand. Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. Zephyrus is like rubbing his eyes. He's like, oh.
Jasper's gonna find a somewhat less mud area to try and bury his arm.
The whole jungle is covered in mud, but if you go into the trees a little bit, there's a lot of foliage in there that absorbs it fairly quickly. As you go in there, Jasper, you see a creature that strikes you as quite interesting. It looks like something that you've seen on display that people say doesn't live in Sharn, because the only thing you ever see wildlife-wise in Sharn is pigeons and rats. But
My favorite.
people refer to this creature as a rabbit, except it looks slightly different. It's got a dappled pattern to it of a brown and gray that mingles in with the trees and the jungle foliage, except for one difference that you hadn't heard that they had. You see a small spiral horn sticking out of its forehead.
Unirabbit.
It's it's an Exquilax. It's a mystical horse with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit.
Bro, that is a fade. Don't touch it.
I'm not. I'm burying my arm. I'm busy.
As you walk in, the creature starts and then runs away.
Cute.
Which starts as a monkey in the tree above, which then flaps its wings and flies off.
This place is strange.
Nephis is gonna follow Jasper and, without saying anything, help him start digging wherever he starts to dig.
This is
Out of curiosity, is Zephyrus's eye, like his not his normal eye, his like other eye with a capital O, still there?
Yes.
Cool. That's all.
Yeah, he's not doing too great. It's definitely still like glowing.
Nephis, I really appreciate the help. Thank you. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever been through. And then he's holding his arm in his hand. This is just, I've grabbed my own arm before, and just not like this. It's cold and I can't feel my hand on my arm, but I can feel my arm in my hand.
Yeah.
This is really scary.
Oh.
It's definitely been a very difficult day.
Sorry for putting you through any of this.
Oh, I mean, I chose to be here, so can't really blame anyone but myself.
That's true. I never want to remember this feeling, but I don't think I'm ever going to forget it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
As the hole is dug and done, Jasper carefully lowers his arm into it and starts covering it up. Thank you for your help. You don't have to stay. I'm gonna be here for a minute.
Okay. As Nephis stands to go, she'll awkwardly give Jasper a pat on the back and be like, I'm just glad I'm not burying all of you right now.
That would be a lot worse.
So sorry, Nephis.
You'd need the others to help. It'd be a much bigger hole.
That's true. Okay. Anyway.
Thank you. And Jasper just stands there.
Oh. I have 2 hit points, but I would love to be there giving you a hug right now.
So
It's okay. I took a short rest. I'm at 33. I'm fine.
The day moves forward as the sun comes out. The night doesn't really offer relief, but you like to pretend that it does, and that pretense quickly goes away as the sun starts to beat down on you. Despite yourselves trying to sleep, and you manage to get through an unfitful but full long rest.
Yay.
Everything.
So fun.
My spell slots.
Howie.
Not that I had very many of them to begin with.
So as you wake up, Azaka eventually sleeps after Div. Oh, Div, do you want to describe to me your self-healing process?
It sounds incredibly painful. He kind of sounds like a washing machine that's on the fridge. Especially considering how banged up he got from like falling well over 100 feet. There's a lot of really painful like popping and snapping of things back into place as there's this background ambient kind of hum. It seems like maybe his internal like lava systems or whatever is going on in there is like is like cycling through his entire form. He sounds like a dishwasher.
It's like my computer's internal fan trying to cool it down.
Yeah.
So by the end of that process, Div, you look like you're back at normal. The rest of you is, as you wake up, Azaka wakes up fairly quickly as well, and she looks towards all of you and she says, "Do you want to get going or take any longer amount of time? This journey is up to you. If you don't want to stay in the jungles any longer, I can take you back. We're much closer to Nyanzaru than we are to Orolungra."
In the same direction or different directions?
Different directions.
Well,
Nyanzaru is north up the river.
I think we
down the
should
river.
continue towards this oracle. I mean, we did go through all of this trouble.
I lost a damn arm. Not turning around now. I appreciate the sentiment on getting us out of here, but we've got a job to do.
She nods to all of you and she says, "It is rare that I meet such tenacious people. It is admirable." And then she leads you back to the canoes and you start once again traversing the jungles of Cholt.
Second, sorry, I know that we're trying to like progress the plot, but I have more things. Before we leave, Marcius is like helping get the stuff together, move in the direction of the thing. And his like limp is pretty pronounced. And he keeps like grabbing for his ear and frowning. He says, "Has anyone, well, I know I did fall from the sky and we were all a bit distracted, but has anyone seen my cane?"
No,
I do not recall.
don't think you had it when I found you both, if I recall correctly.
Did you find me here? It kind of gone far. Maybe if you all wouldn't mind if I took a moment to just look around. I'm sure it won't take very long.
I
Sounds
can help
fine.
look.
Can also help.
That would be
Zeph,
much appreciated.
Zeph, when he talks to Marcius, his voice is a little bit like tight, and he's like looking at Marcius in like a weird way. But I'm sure it's fine.
Do we get out of like while we're looking around, Marcius kind of sticks close to Zephyrus, and if there's a moment where they get out of like immediate earshot of anyone else, he'll start to talk. But
Fun fact, Div is not letting you go anywhere without it.
valid.
Fun fact. But also he's blind and a big metal lizard, so like do with that what you will.
Marcius will kind of say it quietly. Then 1 second. Where's my water? There it is.
In the same place it has been this whole time.
I know. Listen, I'm stupid.
No. No.
He says, it's probably not my place to ask, but I couldn't help but notice. And then he kind of gestures to your forehead. If I'm overstepping, you don't owe me an answer, but
Zeph, when you point at it, he like his hand like kind of shoots through his forehead, and he's like, "Still there."
yeah.
Great. He kind of like looks looks around. He's very on edge now that you've brought attention to it. Like it's
Looks wide-eyed in different directions.
it's something that shouldn't be there. It's supposed to be hidden, but I'm going with it.
I won't push, Marcia says, but it feels dishonest not to tell you I've seen something like that before. Very like that before, and I know. And then his voice like chokes off. Like his mouth is still moving, but he just doesn't say anything. And he looks super confused. And he takes a breath and he tries to say it again. He backs up. He says, I just thought you should know. And then he tries again and nothing comes out. And he glances over at you. And for just a moment, his eyes turn Kamakani's color and he grins smugly. And then it's Marcius again.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. Zephyrus is uncomfy.
I'd be on my best behavior, but I lied.
You
Yeah, no, it's
can literally never promise that you'll be on your best behavior because it's never true. You cannot promise that because it's just inherently false all of the time.
It makes this fun. I don't know what you're going on about.
it is very
You
fun.
walk-
It is
you
very
walk
fun.
into a room and you're like, hey Jason, I'm gonna be on my best behavior today. And I'm like, you're lying.
So, Zephyrus and Marcius, I almost said the wrong name because it still says Kamakani. But Zephyrus and Marcius, you head back and you go to collect back with the group. Marcius, you do note the head of that weird dog thing lying on the ground.
He kind of winces. He says, sorry about the creature, I suppose. It was kind of nice.
Should we bury him? I feel like it would be respectful.
His
Instead of
body
just
was made of rocks and stones and bits of the forest, wasn't it?
So should we scatter it instead of just leaving it to rot in a single spot, return it from whence it came. I don't know, it just feels wrong to have it sit there.
Marcius will pick up Emers's head. He feels kind of like a lurch in his chest. He doesn't know where it comes from. And he kind of shakes himself. He doesn't know why he's been feeling so strange lately. And he'll carry it with them a little bit until they get into the forest on the way to the river, and then he'll kind of toss it into the undergrowth.
You're able to find some shrubs and throw it under there. And then you make your way to the river, now significantly more solemn group than before Firefinger, as you
Minus one arm.
move towards
And one Empress.
Orolungra.
I'm missing an arm and a dog.
A good,
As-
good boy.
I only
The
knew him
days
for 1 day.
pass, the jungle becomes more common to you. Before you were on the river, but in this trek, you only crossed the river to continue walking through the jungle.
Every morning, Jasper wakes up and he seems okay as soon as he wakes up, but he goes to stretch and he just starts crying. It's not audible sobs, but small tears run down his face because it's very uncomfortable. He goes to stretch and there's just something is not right. He feels the muscles are there. He feels them. He goes to stretch, but they just don't. He gets one arm to stretch, both of his legs move, his back, and then it just can't. He's on the trek, had to ask several times for help grabbing things off of his back because he's got everything on either side. He can't, half of his stuff he can't grab anymore. I imagined he's asked help with his drum. That's something he's never going to put down. If anybody has an extra belt or some rope, he wants to tie it to himself so it's still there and he can still play.
How many days do we spend traveling approximately?
So right now, we'll say you're on day 3.
Okay. We'll say day 3 is the first time Marcius sees, like Marcius is awake when Jasper wakes up, kind of goes through his morning routine, and he sees the sun glint off the tears dripping down his cheeks, and his face kind of breaks open, and then Liru is sitting where he was sitting, and she gets up and she says, I have a prototype. I've been thinking about it as we've been traveling. I didn't want to get your hopes up, but I think it might work.
Prototype of what? Also, you're up early, sorry. And he wipes the tears away quickly.
Liru kind of smiles. She reaches down to like pull a strip of her clothing off and hands it to you. She says, I'm really sorry, Jasper. I didn't want you to have to. I understand if you don't want something so invasive after such a traumatic injury, but I thought maybe I could make you a new arm.
He kind of perks up at hearing Liru say that. How would you manage that? We're in the middle of this, and just gestures around to the jungle and mud and marsh and gross.
Liru kind of grins slightly. She flicks her hand, and her woodcarver's tools sort of flick out of her sleeve. And she says, I can do a lot with an hour of uninterrupted work. Well, you saw what I did with poor Emrys.
I'm sorry about Emrys. It was sad to see him go.
He was doing what he was built for. Protecting Div. I'm sure that I can find that spark of a soul again sometime. It won't be him, but there will be something around. But that's not important at the moment. What's important is you. I couldn't protect you then, but I'm going to try and do it now if you're willing to wait an hour. I know you've been waiting 3 days now, but...
Is here really the best time for it? We need to... I don't know if we necessarily always have an hour to sit and wait.
Of course, I can wait as long as you need. Whatever you think is best.
If we come along something and it causes more trouble and more issues, then I'll wait. But until then, we need to focus on getting to the Oracle, doing what we need to do, and getting out. I really appreciate it, though.
Lyra nods. She says, whatever, again, the office still stands, but I respect your choice.
I don't.
I'll give you a hug.
He opens his arm for a hug.
I'm going to hug Jasper. Tightly.
It's about half as tight as it normally would be.
Sobbing, weeping, crying.
I appreciate that more than you may ever know. But we need to do what we're here to do.
Agreed.
And maybe once we get to where we need to get, I'll hit you up on that offer.
Just let me know. And then she flicks her woodcarver's tools back into her sleeve.
Thank you.
Of course, Jasper. Anything.
And if there's anything I can do, let me know.
2 days later, you pass from out underneath the canopy, and you're in an area that is open, and you can see that there is a large marsh in front of you. You can feel the ground gets softer as you get closer, and swamp gas is rising near you. Something else that you see off in the distance. Something that is floating in the air, hundreds of feet off the ground, slowly rotating, dripping with a red liquid, even though it's obviously made out of stone. From this distance, it looks like a human heart.
Hello?
Excuse me?
Hello?
Can we approach that at like a jaunty pace? Like a
Why?
velocity?
What?
I'm blind.
Jasper's just gonna follow whoever leads.
Azaka shrugs as you start going that way, whichever one you are at the time. And she says, it's not out of the way. This will be fine. And you go up until you approach it. And each of you hear a voice calling into your minds. And it sounds like your own voice in each of your heads, but it's obviously not. And it says, hello. I see you have found the heart. If you would like, I can help you up. We can have ourselves a pleasant chat.
We're just gonna be Kamakani.
What? Ooh,
Heh.
hello?
As Kamakani shows up, Jasper sinks to the back of the group.
Each of you hear this message again as kind of all of you are just like, oh, what? Look, I know this may be a little unconventional, but I personally prefer face-to-face conversation. Would you like assistance up, or do you want to stay down there with your little view of, well, not a whole lot?
Please state your
Zeph?
intentions outright, if you wouldn't mind.
Kamakani, you go to say that, you don't.
Oh, fun. I think
Instead, your answer is yes.
Oh,
Oh, I do. Okay. Sounds great. I say yes.
you. Cool.
Very good. You hear in your head. Then
I don't like
opening up
this.
next to you, Kamakani, is a swirling circle that kind of forms and then rips itself open in space. And looking across, you see a set of stone steps that it leads to. Why don't you come on through? You hear in your head, all of you.
Can I roll insight on the really weird swirling door, please? As in, can I roll, does Kamakani think this is dreaming dark?
Kamakani, you are 100% confident it is not.
All right. We're going in. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Peace.
What do the rest of y'all want to do?
Can I grab
boy.
Kamakani?
You can attempt to. But as you go, you hear in your head, oh, I wouldn't do that.
Bro, I
I
am blind and suspicious.
If you come too, then you will be able to help. We will be able to all talk together. Wouldn't that be nice?
talk about what?
What I've discovered, what you've discovered, why you're here, why I'm here, are common goals. I'm sure we have at least some that align.
This is so strange. What? Zephyrus is gonna like flick out his swords and just like hold them casually. And he's gonna turn to Azaka and be like, Azaka, do you know what that is? What this is?
She nods slowly and she says, it is the heart of a dead god.
I'm already inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am actively grabbing you. I am gripping you by the cuff of your
I'm
shirt like a
actively
kitten.
trying to get out of your
Like a dead god.
Do you know which god?
Updal, the old god of Chort. He left because the Chortans spent too much time enslaving and killing each other. This is all he left behind.
neat.
And we're going towards it because
Suppose it is
I will stay on the
intriguing.
ground this time.
I would also like to stay on the ground.
Bye.
No,
Oh, dude, it is way too late.
no, I have been holding him. I have been
You don't
grabbing.
need a roll for that.
You didn't tell me to roll for that.
You're gonna need to roll for that if you
Okay,
want
fine.
to try to hold on Kamakani here.
Fine. What is that? Contested
Athletics.
strength?
Kamakani, you can do acrobatics, basically dexterity or strength.
Okay.
Acrobatics or athletics, whichever you prefer.
What is that? Athletics for me?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it straight dex or do I get to actually roll acro?
You get to roll acro if you prefer, whichever one's better.
I got a dirty 20.
I got a 22. Bye.
David's following you in then.
Uh,
Well,
Weasel.
that's 2 gone.
My man is stupid.
Listen,
I got.
money.
I mean,
And David's just like, no.
I have an idea, but I don't like doing it to people I care about, and there are people in there I care about.
Yes.
You know.
Are you thinking of attacking the heart of a god?
No, not at all. Jasper is
Please
going
don't do
to
that.
yell, "Return!" and he's trying to cast command on Kamakani. Kamakani needs to make a
Kamakani
wisdom
is
save.
way out of range.
He's already 60 feet away. Why is he running?
Kamakani is over 500 feet away, actually.
He's
I have
running.
dimension door.
Never mind. Never mind.
I
I'm
have
just
been teleported out of the area. Goodbye, everyone.
Kamakani and Div
Doing-
are straight up gone.
Skype disconnect noise.
well, we can still do this with 2 less people, right?
Good luck, my guy.
No.
I, for
Yeah, you
one,
can
do
totally
not.
do this without my enormous amount of healing magic.
Zephyrus, you saw what
unfortunate.
happened when we went to the finger. And Jasper just kind of points at where his arm used to be. What do you
Yes,
think is going to
Jasper.
happen when we go to the heart?
I'm not sure. But Nephis, what do you think? Are we going to survive, just the 3 of us and Asaka, of course, without a
Oh,
healer?
you want just us to go to the wherever we're
That's
going?
what Jasper's suggesting.
I mean, do we risk trying to go in there and help them?
I mean,
What happened? Oh,
see, it did just say it wanted to talk, right? So maybe
Yes.
they'll
What
be
happened?
fine.
what
I'm not
happened
going
to
to hurt any of
loyalty?
you all hear in your heads.
I'm not talking to you, if you would please. This is a private conversation. If you would please be quiet. You're not welcome. Jasper, we're friends with these people. Kamakani
Yeah,
is a different story, but
friends with the ones that share the body.
yes.
Zaka, it looks like we're gonna have to go back up.
She lets out a sigh and then nods. And she says,
Sorry.
one should stay and watch the canoes.
Who wants to stay and watch the canoes?
I would raise my arm, but just only the one.
Yeah. I can assume that there have been days of these puns.
Oh yeah, there have been so many terrible jokes because he's trying to cope and it's not working.
Okay, Azaka, you said you know what this is. You let us walk toward it. So I'm assuming.
Well, it doesn't usually have voices coming from it and circle things opening up. I've never seen it do this before.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sometimes
Congratulations.
priests will try and find a way up there, but the rest of us, we stay on the ground.
That's so strange. That's so strange. I don't know anymore.
I would rather not lose anybody. I'm also terrified to go to a giant heart of a dead god.
Time's ticking, each of you here in your heads.
Okay, all right.
Do you two want to stay down here, Asaka and Jasper?
I don't Well, you guys will be okay, right? I don't.
It said it wasn't gonna hurt us. I mean, can gods lie? Of course.
Jasper's
But-
just gonna kind of look up and be like, if we go, what's in it for us?
We'll trade information. We'll see what each other knows. I might be able to help you. You might be able to help me. If not, then we'll part ways, at least having given it a good effort.
Pal, this brain ain't got much in it. You can try. It's got bad jokes, some song lyrics that I've never been able to get out.
Okay, I'm gonna go in. I don't feel good about Div being in there with Kamakani by himself. So I'll go. You
Second.
guys can whoever wants to, we die,
I
we die.
assume-
We already almost died, right? Why
Nephis,
not do it again?
Nephis, don't say that.
I mean, it's a god. If it wanted to kill us, it probably already would have. That's all. That's what I'm thinking.
That's fair. That's fair.
Do you want to kill us?
No,
Are you lying?
not yet.
Let's stop asking questions. Let's just go.
Yeah, Nephis is gonna walk in. But before Nephis does, she'll look at Azaka and be like, "You should probably stay and watch the canoes."
Azaka
Seem-
will nod gratefully to you.
Cool. See ya, maybe. Bye.
I can't let them go in there, and Jasper's gonna join.
As the three of you walk through this portal, you find yourself standing on the steps, hundreds of feet in the air. Then as the portal closes, you look across and you see with his hand in the air is a wraith of a man with skin so pale it's nearly translucent and hair as dark as drying ink. He's handsome in a sharp way. And he wears a black, undecorated eye patch with a violent scar that spins around his face from beneath it. A single braid reaches down to his knees. He's got a small dusting of stubble. And as he smiles, his
Wait.
teeth are slightly pointed.
Wait a minute.
All of you recognize this man as you are looking at Kamakani. That's where we'll stop for tonight.
Hello. Hello.
You're on mute.
You can't do that. You actually can't do that. So I'm here too, right?
Yep.
No, we're not doing that. All right? Like, go back and stop doing what you're doing and do something else instead of that.
You were the one who walked into the portal.
Listen.
You literally did this to
We'll
all
see y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Well, we
For-
Bye bye.
See you later, everyone.